All right. Looks like Microsoft showed their cards first. That's great. I'm actually really happy about this. There's no podcast this week, and I got some stuff to say, so let's get into it. Welcome all fellow wannabes, welcome to the channel. I am Gabriel Fast. I do claim to be the wannabe critic. So as a lot of you know, I am very into video games. I love video games. That's become more of what I've been doing here on this channel. And we have some interesting news that hit late last night as of the date of me posting this video. The Xbox Series S will be launching alongside the Xbox Series X for quite the decrease in price compared to the Xbox Series X, the high-tier console that Microsoft will be releasing. Now, as far as tech is concerned, it does a lot of the same things that the higher-tier console is going to do, just at a lower fidelity and performance. But it's going to still be able to play next-gen games. You're still going to be able to get Game Pass on it. For me, this is a really good thing because, in my opinion, I don't care. I don't need the highest performing console. I just want to be able to play good games. That's all I want. And I think this $299 price point is a really good way to do that. The news dropped late last night from a reputable source, this guy right here, Brad Sams, in which, you know, the images started surfacing all around the internet. And my first inclination was, this is fake. This isn't from Microsoft. This isn't real, whatever. And then as it started circulating more, Microsoft decides to drop this image, which leads me to believe that this was probably an internal leak. If Microsoft was the one that went ahead and gave the green light on that, they obviously have good reasons for doing so. Some people think that it's because they wanted to get out ahead of Sony and announce their price first because they heard that maybe Sony's prices were going to be higher and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. And of course, you know, this is going to be memed into oblivion. The Xbots and Sony ponies are going to be going at it on the Twitterverse, and we're all going to have to hear about it. As per usual, nothing's going to change there. Console wars are dumb. Just play what you want to play. I love Xbox. I always have. That was one of my first gaming consoles that actually really got me into paying more attention to, you know, a more diverse story that can be told very much in its own medium, in its own way, an interactive experience that you're going to be able to be a part of. It's one of the coolest things ever. So I don't care what system it's on. I'm going to have one of the new PS5s at launch. I'm going to have one of the new Xboxes at launch. A lot of the questions that are going on right now, this $299 console just solidifies for me that, yeah, Xbox doesn't care about the price of their consoles that much. They want you subscribed to Game Pass. They want you to be in that ecosystem in whatever way, shape, or form you want to be in. They just want you subscribed to Game Pass. If they get you subscribed to Game Pass, that's a win. That's going to be a win for them. With this lower tier console launching alongside the higher tier consoles, it makes too much sense if you're a hardcore gamer to not pick this up for basically the price of what you could get for an Xbox One X at this point. For me, my Xbox One X, I paid $250 for it or something like that. I'll probably be able to sell it for around that and then, you know, make up the difference, and I'll have the new console and the new generation of games. Awesome. That's great. That's the goal. I think this lower tier console also is really designed for people who might have been on the fence, who maybe wanted to go with Xbox, but maybe were afraid of the, you know, the price tag that was going to be going alongside it. This, for them, for Xbox people, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer if they were worried about picking up the higher tier console at a higher price. Now they have this option as well to where they're basically going to be able to keep their current customers happy. It's a really smart way to do it. Now, let's be real. PlayStation did the exact same thing a few months ago whenever they showed off the PS5. They showed an all-digital version, which inherently will be cheaper than the one with the disc drive. But we know that, you know, this Series S Lockhart thing has been, you know, rumored for such a long time. It makes too much sense to not launch it alongside it. It's just interesting that PlayStation was the one that announced theirs first, which is kind of funny to me. I don't see any negatives in Xbox doing this. I see no problem with them doing this. If anything, announcing their stuff and keeping their train rolling is going to keep them relevant. I've been saying this forever, if you listen to the podcast, that Xbox has been on the brink of being irrelevant for quite some time because they don't have any games to play. And I'm not talking about stuffs on Game Pass. I'm talking games you can only play on Xbox. What do you got? You got like 4 that are good. Let's be real. You know, and I'm not trying to be mean, but in comparison to what's available on their competitor, it's really not a question as to which one has more to offer and diversity to offer, especially from this past gen. So for me, to sum things up, I think them putting this console out not only gives their current customers more diverse options, but it also makes it an easier decision for people like me who want to be a part of all of the games next generation to say, hey, you can be a part of that experience at a lower fidelity for the entire generation. And if they don't make that happen, like if you can only play Series S, like if they make it to where Series S is going to be outdated at some point in time, like I don't understand that if that's their strategy. But to me, this just makes so much sense for people like me who want to be a part of everything next gen. I was going to get the digital PlayStation not only because it was cheaper, but because all my games are digital anyways. I'm going to have both experiences at an enjoyable rate for almost the price of one of these higher tier experiences. So for me, it's just like, if I'm feeling this way, there has to be more people out there like me that are saying, why do I need the X? Like, do I really need the power the X has to offer? How much different is the X? And of course, there's tech specs and things like that you can go check out and see how much different it actually is. But for me, you know, the mid-tier gamer, I don't know if you would call me a hardcore gamer, but as someone who wants to be a part of everything that both consoles have to offer, it makes the most sense for me to just be able to buy both of these cheaper consoles and be a part of the conversation moving forward. You do not have to have the 1,000 frames per second and you know, the refresh rate of God knows much. I don't know all of that stuff. I don't care. I just want to play the games because that's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about the hardware and what the hardware can do. If Xbox claims to have such great power, where are the games? Like, I don't care about the power. You know, PlayStation could put out the PS5 and have it be barely better than the PS4 Pro. And guess what? If I only had the money to pick one, I'd still go with PlayStation. Because at the end of the day, PlayStation puts out good games. They have a good track record of doing that. I want to see Xbox get to that point. So for people that are like, if people are worried about jumping on the Xbox wagon now, or, you know, are thinking, we're even thinking about potentially getting both at launch, this next console makes it much more easier for them to do that. Even if it's at a later time, that console's still going to be in existence for who knows how long. So it goes from, no, there's no way I could ever afford to have both consoles to, yeah, maybe in 6-7 months now I can get that one, or, you know, however long it takes you to save up for that one, or whatever. I just think this was a really smart move for Microsoft to put out all of this information now, and just to go ahead and be the one that says, hey, this is what we got. Because now, for the consumer, we can definitely expect to see some news from PlayStation probably in the next week or two. If history has shown us anything, it's shown us that at the beginning of last generation, Xbox announced their price first. Sony came out and said we're $100 cheaper. Mic drop. It's done. Here we go. So now it's an interesting ball to put in PlayStation's court because they don't really have the luxury of trying to undercut whatever price Microsoft is putting out at this point. All they can do is release something that's similar. But at the end of the day, I think what having all of these different options and all these different consoles available is doing for us as consumers is it's keeping their current clientele happy and secure. So for me, if the rumors that are floating around Twitter today are true about, you know, the all digital PS5 being $350, that makes a lot of sense as well. That's a great competitive price to go up against the Series S, especially while you already have a leg up now. And I'm not trying to make this a war of consoles. I have both sitting in my room right now. Like I turn on my PlayStation more because there's more stuff that I like. I like the games more on there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying one is better than the other. And when numbers don't lie, there has to be a reason as to why numbers don't lie. So I know this kind of got off into a ranty thing. This is supposed to be about the Xbox Series S. And in a lot of ways, we've been kind of going back and forth and kind of talking about what the Series S means for Xbox going forward and what it means for their competitor. And at the end of the day, I think everything just kind of stays the same. I think at the end of the day, Xbox fans are going to be happy with having a little bit of diversity and being able to choose the experience that they want to have, especially if the all-digital Xbox Series X is a thing, then, you know, that's great. There's so many options for Xbox. PlayStation is not going to have to worry about a thing. They're going to have a repeat of exactly what happened last generation. They're going to sell a bunch of consoles. They're going to make a ton of money off of software. And I think we're going to see a very interesting next gen. Overall, I hope you know that I'm very happy about the Xbox Series S announcement. Thank you for listening to my rant. I really appreciate it. I almost said thank you for coming to my TED Talk, but I didn't want to be that guy. Thanks for tuning in. I'm very excited to see what happens with the Xbox Series S. And thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. We'll see you next time. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the wannabe critic.